Hello there, men, and welcome to the Masculinism Movement channel, a place for men to be men and talk about masculinity and men's rights and issues. I'm your host, Brian Krall, and today I want to talk to you about how women mistreat and manipulate men. Women tend to see men as resources to be taken advantage of and exploited. Due to their hypergamous nature, they do not see or treat men with humanity, but see them as objects to be used, as objects are, and abused if he resists, and then discarded when their usefulness has run out. It is common and socially acceptable for women to manipulate, use, control, and psychologically abuse men for their own gain. And they get away with it due to feminism and social gender biases, as well as their ability to use dark psychological tactics such as reverse psychology and projection, and doing things like playing the victim in situations where they are actually the abuser and victimizer, or playing like they are oppressed even when they are the oppressor, and other such role reversals to try to keep turning the tables on the men that they want to be manipulating and exploiting. And so I'm here to do a little PSA for you men out there to generate awareness on how women manipulate and exploit and mistreat men by actually bringing evidence and sources to cite for you. Now, of course, you could easily do an internet search for how women manipulate men or how women abuse men, and you'll find a lot of sources coming up. And one of the issues that I had in trying to compile a list of sources here was in how to keep it concise, because there was just so much out there. I mean, there's books written by female psychologists teaching women how to manipulate and exploit and even ruin men. Like a book called DAMN, which is an acronym which stands for Destroy a Man Now, written by a female psychologist for women on how they can get ahead in the workplace by throwing men under the bus and, destroying men's livelihood so that they can, take it. Really evil sociopathic and even psychopathic stuff. And then there's plenty of female dating coaches out there who teach women how to be gold diggers and financial predators and to manipulate men into allowing them to be financially exploited by the woman. So I was really overwhelmed by sources to provide for you. And I really wanted to keep it concise and only provide the best, most essential information here, which is what I did. But I highly recommend you also do your own research about how women manipulate men, because I am going to be doing a very thorough expose on the topic, but that is not going to be for some time. And you really should see all of the internet results that come up when you type in things like, female manipulation. Like this evil book written by a female psychologist who, if she's a medical professional, should have taken a Hippocratic oath to do no harm using her medical knowledge. And yet she's like an evil psychologist, like a female Hannibal Lecter, teaching women how to destroy men. And then there's all of the female dating coaches out there giving women bad advice on how to use us men. So it's really important that we be aware and conscious of this type of information that's being spread out there, so that we will know these female manipulation tactics when we see or experience them. And like I said, I'll be generating more awareness about them in the future. But first, I want to share with you a book on female manipulation of men, written by a female men's rights activist back during second wave feminism and the sexual revolution of the 70s. Her name is Esther Vilar, and her book is called The Manipulated Man. And in it, she exposes all of the female social and political manipulation tactics that they used against men, at least in that generation, most of which still is, the same today, and only, a little bit here or there has changed and was still very interesting to read about. And I know a lot of you out there aren't into reading books these days, but this one is so important for us men to read. And it's so enlightening to hear a female actually expose like all of the female manipulation tactics that, she has observed women using against men. And so what I've done is I provided a link to the Wikipedia page for that book for you below. And I also have provided you with the audio book so that you don't have to do any actual reading but can just listen to it during your time when you are doing anything. You could be listening to this. Make sure you get this information. And I even provided 2 links to it below on YouTube for free to make sure that you're able to listen to at least one of them, because I found that the link that I had used to listen to the audiobook was no longer active. But there are 2 for you below. Make sure that you listen to that before that gets taken down as well. And then the next citation I have for you is on how women control men in their relationships using power moves, which is actually what the website is about. It's called thepowermoves.com. And this article discusses how women domesticate men just like animals or pets, using things such as drama and nagging, criticism and blaming, shaming, tasking, or giving tasks and chores to do, and other such power plays. So that is a good read right there, but that's not all. There is one last one for you on how women emotionally mistreat and abuse men. And this is from the website Intellectual Takeout, which goes over a number of different ways that women mistreat and abuse men, such as bullying, unreasonable expectations and demands, verbal attacks and abuse, gaslighting, like lying to him and then claiming that he is crazy if he doubts you, being unpredictable and erratic, causing constant chaos, withholding affection and sex, silent treatment, isolation, all of these types of things that are commonplace in relationships with women that all of us men have experienced in our relationships with them, and are technically in the field of psychology forms of emotional abuse. And yet, there's no awareness being generated for men on how women abuse us, and so much awareness generated on how men abuse women, even though they do it less often. And that's because women, for the most part, do it very manipulatively. All right. And even though women are physically abusive with men more than men are with them, women are even more emotionally abusive than they are physically abusive. And this emotional abuse is perfectly paired with manipulation. And they're able to get away with it because it's socially acceptable, because we live in a gynocentric matriarchy that favors women and is against men. So make sure you are aware of all of the ways that women commonly manipulate and mistreat men so that you can protect yourself against it. And that concludes this talk. Thank you for listening. Be sure to share your own thoughts and opinions and stories and experiences about female manipulation and mistreatment by commenting below, so that we can all generate awareness about these issues and help protect ourselves together. And if you like this video, be sure to hit the like button and share these messages with everyone by sharing the video on social media and talking about these things too, to spread awareness. And lastly, make sure you've checked out all the links below, including the resources I have provided for your masculine personal development and living the life you want to as an independent man. And stay tuned for the next video coming out soon, which will be on man-hating and anti-male sexism called Misandry. And make sure you subscribe so you'll be notified when that is. And until then, take care of yourselves, men, because no woman out there is going to.